Friends, welcome. We have now reached the final lecture of this conference, and I have been asked to speak about our future. What will we become? By now, after 3 days, you have understood that we can only become that which we already are within ourselves. We can only bring to awakening what is already dormant within ourselves. Let's therefore get back to the question we started this conference with: what are we? Let me list all the answers to that question, from the most universal to the most details. First of all, the most universal answer is Tat Tvam Asi. Thou art Tat. You are Parabrahman. In our deepest essence, we are the principle of which the first fundamental proposition in the secret doctrine speaks. And next, we are that about which the second fundamental proposition speaks. One of the numberless universes or monads or points of consciousness in the universe in toto. We, as a drop in the ocean of life, have within us all the infinite attributes of that ocean. And third, we are at the moment a human being. That is, a being, a point of consciousness, who in unfolding all those infinite attributes has arrived at the development of the faculty of thought, self-consciousness. All the lower attributes we have already developed during our stay in the lower kingdoms of nature. During this life of the planet, we as inhabitants of the human kingdom will grow into perfect thinkers. And in the next life of this planet, in a higher kingdom of nature, as novice gods, we are going to unfold all attributes which are more spiritual, more universal than thinking. And fourth, we are a human being consisting of a series of 7 principles, actually aspect of the one principle. And fifth, we are a human being composed of a series of monads, also called cells, as we can learn from the voice of the silence. And these cells are not separate, but form a series of cells within cells. And 6, we as human beings are an assembly of 3 lines of evolution in the cosmos. Helena Blavatsky describes it as A, the monadic line, our spiritual basis, our galactic part, and B, the intellectual line, our thinking basis, our solar part, and C, the physical line, our personal, impermanent part derived from Moon and Earth. And when we combine explanations 5 and 6, we can build an inspiring picture of what we are. We are consciousness, a stream of consciousness, infinite inward and infinite outward. And in that stream there are foci, monads, cells, living beings who transform this stream to a lower realm of consciousness, a lower quality of consciousness. You see, A, the monadic spiritual divine line within us, is represented by the monad, Atma Buddhi, whom we can call our inner God, operating at a galactic level. And B, the solar line within us, is represented by a child monad working at the solar level, whom we can call our inner Buddha. And C, the inner planetary line within us is represented by a child monad working at the inner planetary level, whom we can call our inner teacher. So we, as growing human beings, have within ourselves three foci, three selves, through which we can be inspired. And these three selves are usually summarized by Helena Blavatsky in the term higher self. And now we can much more easily answer the question of what will we become in the future. First, in the far, far, far future, we will become universes. And second, in the less distant but still far future, we will become galaxies within a universe. And in the distant future, we will become suns, stars within a galaxy, radiant points within a galaxy. And before that, we will become planets within a solar system. And during this life of our planet, we will become perfect humans, thinkers. And currently, in this fourth of the 7 life periods or rounds of the planet, we can become true theosophists. People who want to grow faster, become wiser than the rest, to help all humans and other living beings to achieve enlightenment. And growing faster means that we become living expressions of those three selves within us: our inner teacher, our inner Buddha, and our inner God, in short, our higher self. And by living in synchronous vibration with those higher qualities of consciousness, we help our fellow men to find and to reflect their own higher self. How can we realize our future? Good question. And first of all, we should not see our growth from the standpoint of our small self. I am wiser now. We must forget that self and consider that growth in larger context. First, our growth seen as part of the growth of the development of our living planet. Where is planet Earth in its growth? And what is humanity's function in the growth of our living planet? Well, just as our human life can, from birth till death, be divided into 7 periods, so our planet knows 7 life periods as well. In the first life periods, the reincarnating part of man and planet connects more and more with matter, builds its vehicles, its bodies, and again reactivates all its attributes that it developed in previous incarnations. We call this with a technical term, the descending arc of evolution. And then, halfway through the life of the planet, there is a turning point, after which the planet turns back to the spiritual, to the enduring part within itself. The planet spiritualizes, and we call this the ascending arc of evolution. And our planet is currently just past that turning point and has just begun its ascending arc. And our planet Earth, like man, is also composed of those three lines of evolution. The highest line, its galactic part, the monad Atma Buddhi. The middle line, its solar part, Manas plus Buddhi. And the lowest line, its terrestrial plus lunar part, its lower four principles. And during the ascending arc of the planet, the highest and middle lines become increasingly more prominent. And we, as thinkers, as humanity, have a task in that middle line, in the solar part of the planet. Humanity is that instrument, that organ of the planet, by which the highest ideations, Plato's ideas with capital letters, are transformed by us thinkers into human ideals. And those in turn into all the thoughts we think, and those in turn into all the acts we perform in the outer world. That very function is important, is indispensable in this spiritualization process of the planet. Thus, without a well-functioning humanity, the planet cannot grow on its ascending arc. There, friends, lies our task. And secondly, we can see our growth as the growth, the development of our own higher self. So, the planet needs humans who apply that same spiritualization process within themselves. Humans who more and more allow the influence of their own inner God, their own higher self, to flow through them as a stream of consciousness into this outer world. You see, our growth is actually the expansion of the sphere of influence of our inner God. And as for our world, to the extent that we think only our higher ideals and universal thoughts and live by them, to that extent our higher self can grow. We are a modest but necessary factor in this, and there, friend, lies again our task. And then I want to ask your attention for our growth, seen as the growth of humanity during the ascending arc of the planet. Listen, in human life, with each new life period, there are thoughts and habits we leave behind. Who still needs playing at marbles, a second car, barbecues, production results, profit margins, etc.? At some point in our lives, we see the illusion, the limited value of it, and focus more on thoughts and things that have an inner value: friendship, integrity, universality, wisdom. And let's not turn the planet into a human being, but the same process takes place on the ascending arc of the planet. The planet outgrows the lower vitality, the instinct. Hence, the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom, the instruments for these of the planet, are currently asleep, are in obscuration. And those people who practice to become an active part of their own higher self, their own inner God, and who use this inspiration to inspire others, thereby connect themselves to higher kingdoms of nature, and during the life of the planet grow into perfect humans, beings in whom the Manas principle has reached perfection, ready for a career in the next higher kingdom of nature. And those people, on the other hand, who in their long series of incarnations are not focused on their divine souls, even deny its existence, and see matter as reality, and remain stuck in everything their five outer senses tell them, those people become redundant in these new, higher life periods of the planet. They are not longer useful, and thus also fall asleep, go into obscuration, not forever, for in a subsequent incarnation of the planet, they will, as part as the human kingdom, continue to grow again. Currently, the planet is in the fourth of its 7 life periods or rounds. And the most critical moment in the life of the planet will be halfway through its 5th life period or round. It is called the moment of choice. This is when a human being either definitely falls asleep, becomes a passive cell, or definitely becomes a living, actively working cell in the fabric, in the sphere of influence of his inner God. Helena Blavatsky's teachers already expressed their concern about the large number of people who simply deny their own spiritual core, the source of their conscience, of their intuition, of their inspiration. And in doing so, they are preparing their moment of choice. For this process of choosing begins now, halfway the 5th sub-period of the planet's 4th life period. In technical terms, halfway the 5th root race of this 4th round. Now, halfway 5 of 4, our consciousness frequency is in synchronous vibration with the great halfway 5th round moment. Just as musical tones have overtones, have harmonics. And that is why our future moment of choice starts now, and why now more than ever true theosophists are greatly needed. Helena Blavatsky's teachers show how serious the situation is. They see it as their task, and therefore our task as theosophists, to help as many people as possible in finding their own inner God, their higher self, and actively use its influence. That is where our task currently lies, ensuring that as many humans as possible successfully pass that moment of choice, which begins now. only then will humanity be a rich, reliable, useful tool for the planet during its upward arc, rather than a poor, feeble, unreliable and handicapped humanity. Friends, how can we practically accomplish this task, this important task? By imitating those who are ahead of us in development. The Buddhas, the sages, the really inspiring people in the world. By recognizing their mindset, their mentality within ourselves, thus making our higher self our permanent companion. And by making its influence your conscience, your intuition, your inspiration, a permanent guide in your life. There's little time to fully work this out, but for that our next study session serves. 3 hints are helpful in this regard, and I have provided a brief reading of all 3. First, the Bodhisattva vow, plus the Nirmanakaya attitude, and second, refusing to enter nirvana, and shortening Devachan, the dream state between 2 lives, and third, a very important one, learning to recognize also in yourself the fine distinctions between these 2 types of human I mentioned, so that we can do our work as theosophists more effectively. A great help in this is the 6th reading on our website, containing the second half of Helena Blavatsky's article Le Cycle Nouveau, the new cycle. During the next study session, let's use her help and inspire each other with our own life experience to make these 3 inner attitudes and ways of living a habit in our lives. Unfortunately, I lack the time to go deeper into these important topics. Therefore, on the ITC website, you find my 6 short readings, 1 for each topic. First, the composite constitution of man, then man and his inner God, and the 3rd reading is the ascending arc and the moment of choice. The 4th is the Bodhisattva vow and the Nirmanakaya attitude. The 5th is renouncing nirvana and shortening Devachan. And 6, Helena Blavatsky on our work in the new cycle. And I really hope that you will reread and reponder them also after this conference. Thank you.